Super Dave here with episode 37 of figures, playsets, and accessories that may work well with MOTU Classics or Masterverse. In this case, I think the Masterverse line particularly. You may have heard of this new line of figures. It's called the Crucible, and it's put out by the Harvinger Studios. And I went ahead and picked up just a couple of these. First of all, this Savage, and he's called Savage Lemurian. He's from Lemuria, or he is a Lemurian from the continent of Caraba, and you'll see that on the map. But this is more of a base figure, kind of like to use as a servant, I guess, or a savage, or as one of the army builders, if you will, of this lizard style humanoid race. So he looks really cool. The articulation is supposed to be amazing. And there's a little write-up about this Savage Crucible line if you want to pause and read that. And then second of all, we have another one, another Savage Crucible. This is more of a main character, I believe, because he comes in a nice window box packaging. Even has a nice scroll bio card if you'd like to read that. You certainly can pause and read that now on that scroll. And this is Como of the Isles, and he was also raised on the island of Lemuria by a Lemurian family, and part of his story talks about being on a volcanic type area, which I think is why his clothes look the way they do. You can look and see how his clothes kind of look like they have like they were forged from a volcano rock or lava or something like that. And he comes with some cool weapons. I love the face sculpt on this character, even though he doesn't have a hinged or articulated mouth like the other one. But I wanted to check this one out, being he's one of the main characters. He's a monster killer and hunter and survivor, and really can't determine whether these are supposed to be good guys or bad guys. I guess it's up to your imagination, but I'm going to make these two bad guys to go along with my Whiplash and Slythe, and even my Crocodile back here, and Crocman, I'm calling him, with our bad guys, because a lot of times you have, you know, beasts, so to speak, in your MOTU. So we're going to fit these guys in with that. So let's go over here in Snake Mountain and check them out.
Within the dark realms of the Valley of Snake Mountain, where all forms of evil dwell, often there are villains or unsuspected, even reluctant workers that come to dwell among the evil, to be hired hands of evil, even our lizard kind or crocodile kind, like Slide, Whiplash, and Crocman. But this time, a Savage Crucible from Lemuria, a Lemurian, and even a half-human, half-lizard kind named Como. And these have come to find work among the evil villains, and those we will look at today. First, let's look at their accessories.
And first of all, our Savage Lemurian, I would say more of an army builder base body, comes with two sets of hands, a set of like clawing hands that are horizontally hinged, and then a set of weapon holding hands that are vertically hinged, both of these. It also comes with this bone, like it's a piece of bone with teeth, like it came off of a dinosaur or something that's been lashed or roped onto, tied onto a metal spear of some sort, or a metal device. It's got like a metal looking handle metal type blade type device that with this bone type weapon strapped to it, looking really cool. And behind the map, which each one of the figures come with like this map of Lemuria, behind that map in the package comes a little foil package, almost like a baseball card but a little bigger. And he comes with this Savage Crucible card, which I think this one's actually the card of this Lemurian. Now on the back it has all kinds of bio information about this Lemurian savage. Medium humanoid, Lemurian, any alignment, just all kinds of different things about the action, tail sweep, action, all kinds of information about this character. But then when we come over here to look at Como of the Isles, he comes with one of those cards, but that's not of him. It's actually a card of a different variant called an Imperial Sentry, which you can get those too. I think I believe Anthony's Customs did a review of one with the purple outfit like this, if I'm not mistaken. But that's another Savage Crucible, but this is not this character. So it doesn't necessarily mean, apparently, that your figure will come with its own card, is what I'm getting at. But this particular figure, named Como, comes with 2 hand sculpts as well. One set of clawing hands that are horizontally hinged, as well as a little coin purse that he comes with that will attach to his belt. And then even a sword with, like, it's been heated up by heat in the lava streams of some sort there. And then he comes with a club type device with like some black bones attached to it, similar to the other guy. But this has a, like, again, a volcanic theme going on with all of his armor and his clothing and his garb that he's wearing, even his club here. And all of that is removable. You can remove all of that, I do believe. I know you can remove the neck and shoulder parts, and I believe you can remove the gauntlets as well. We'll check that out when we take a closer look and do his articulation. But let's go ahead now, and that's going to be the highlight of these characters from everything that I've seen and heard. And we're going to take a look at their articulation right now. Alright, so taking a look at our Savage Lemurian Hitman here. First of all, I would say this is the base body that would be good for putting on some of the extra accessories. You can buy packs from Savage Crucible and from Big Bad Toy Store, like extra heads and extra clothing or armor and weapons and stuff like that. So this is basically your base body, and then you could dress him out, you know, the way you want to. Not sure if this part comes off or if some of this pops loose or not. You know, I don't want to break anything, but I'm thinking you probably can do that. Let me check and see. So you can't pop him loose here at the diaphragm or at the waist, but these legs will pop off pretty easily. You can pop them off, and then you could remove this skirt piece, slip it right on off, because even this tail would pop out. So I guess it may be kind of like your Mythic Legions. It may be where you can exchange legs and arms. I haven't checked this part because, well, you'll see what we're getting ready to cover with articulation. I'm a little doubtful of trying to pop some of this stuff loose. But the head is going to be able to look up a really good amount there. It's going to be able to look down pretty much all the way. Not quite as far maybe as you would think as far as touching his chest, but it still looks good. He's going to be able to get some good head pivot there. And of course look side to side either way. And then take a look at this. He has an articulated mouth. So that is really neat. That was the selling point for me of getting this particular figure. I really liked the fact that he has the open mouth ability. Now, let's go on to the arms. Typical of what we see in most lines, you get full 360. You're going to be able to get you know, a really good T-pose there. And you get bicep swivel here, but you also get elbow swivel. So this bicep swivel is an independent loose piece that kind of just you know, is not attached to anything. So that's interesting. It's more for aesthetics to be able to, and everything's so seamless. And even the double jointed elbow, if you notice, they've got a different approach here. It bends here and then it bends here, kind of like the lower part of the forearm and the upper part of the bicep elbow, just above the elbow. So you get a really good range, but you don't ever see the joint really. It's really nice, really nicely done. The way that's done. It is a double jointed elbow, but you get a really good seamless experience. Plus you still get better, just better than 90 degrees there. So that's really nice. And like I said, you're going to be able to swivel at the elbow, even at the forearm. So that's really unique and different, that you have a bicep swivel, elbow swivel, and forearm swivel right there together. And as I mentioned earlier, this vertically hinged weapon holding hand for both sides is really nice as well. And then if you'll notice here, he has the ability, he's got some really nice included and well hidden articulated butterfly joint back here in the back. And it will pull out too far if you don't watch it. So you have to watch where it goes. But just take a look at that. He's able to just really puff up and also get some good cross arm type motion because of that butterfly joint, which will cross, see, it'll cross his chest. His arm will cross over his chest because of that butterfly joint. But just in general, having that butterfly joint going, you're going to be able to get some good like double-handed weapon holding type maneuvers like so. And you can see back there, and like this one here just popped out a little too far. But if it does that, it's not a big issue. You just pop it back in. But looks really good from the back too, doesn't it? I like it. Like it a lot back here. Very neat. Moving on to the diaphragm, you're going to be able to, even without the waist, you're going to be able to crunch forward that much. And then you're going to be able to bend back just slightly, but you see it begins to gap here. If you bend back too much from the diaphragm, you're going to be able to go side to side with that diaphragm, which is nice, and really gets a full hula hoop motion going on. But then you also have a ball joint in the waist, so you're going to be able to put those together and crunch forward that much, and you're going to be able to put those together and bend back even further. Again, have to make adjustment for the gap, but even if you adjust for the gap, you still get a good range, and you're still going to be able to get really good side to side motion like you see here, and just, you know, a total just about going anywhere you want to. Just take a look at those abs. They're so well done. Really nice aesthetics and build to this character. He's also going to rotate at the waist and even more smooth at the diaphragm rotation. That is excellent. All right, he's going to get full splits. It is going to push the skirt piece up here, or the loincloth up, but that's fine. You get full splits. You can tuck that back down. You're going to get thigh rotation that's up inside the joint there. You're going to be able to kick up about that far, at least 90 degrees there. You do have double jointed knees, kind of like that was done with the elbows. It's very well hidden, so it looks really good, and it gets a very good range. You get better than 90 degrees, and it's going to be able to kick back a little, not quite all the way to touch his behind there or his tail, but it gets really good range and has rotation again both at the knee and the lower knee part if you need it. Then you also have the ability to go full tiptoes. He's going to go up all the way. He has ankle rockers that are really nice with a peg hold, and even a toe hinge on this character at the proper place. It's not too bad. Looks nice. There we go. Those claws. So that helps. I will say, anytime you get that toe hinge, it actually makes it a little bit more difficult to make a character stand in some cases. And in this case with the Crucibles, it did for me, for both of these characters. There's just so much articulation, and it's so well done, and everything's tight. I'm not saying that, but it does, you know, cause it to be a little difficult to stand, to make them stand. Now the tail would be the last articulation, and it'll go out that far, it'll tuck in all the way, and you don't really get much of a rotation like this way, but you can turn it like that. But it doesn't, it's not really designed, unless you bend it and turn like that, you're not really going to be able to get it to whip up and around like we saw, like for instance Cringer that we just reviewed earlier. Alright, so there is your first lizard style figure from Crucible, which is really neat. A savage Lemurian. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Como, who is more of a main character for this line. And then bringing our Como on in here, he is just looking amazing. This character is really what impressed me personally. I thought this character was just amazing. You see, I've equipped his little coin purse, or at least that's what I think this is, a little thing that will clip to his, or I guess it could be a leather like water pouch, a water skin that has water in it. Either way, it clips to his belt. And again, you could pop these legs off and take this part off. You notice he has a shorter tail, being that he's part human and part lizard kind, or I'm calling it lizard, whatever these are supposed to be. They look kind of have, you know, scaly and lizardy to me. That sword is just really nice looking. Get a closer look at that here. Just really cool. And yeah, just really neat. Now again, these parts are able to come off as well. They pop right off, like they have like a ball joint back here that just pops out of place. You can see the blue accents back here in that little hole, and so that ball joint will allow that armor to maneuver around, and then you can just pop it right back into place. And these shoulder joints are the same way. You have a little hole back here on the back of the shoulder, and these shoulder armor have a little peg, and that allows it to maneuver out of the way and move with the figure. So everything's able to articulate and get out of the way, which is really nice. Now, I was wrong about the gauntlets and the shin guards. They are not removable. That's part of the mold. The second part of the double jointed is attached to this gauntlet here, and this shin guard is not removable either. So I didn't know if maybe, you know, you could customize all of it in the terms of changing his whole outfit with one of their other packs, and you could, you know, dress him out with other, you know, chest and back and shoulder armor, even maybe the midsection here, but you're not going to be able to change the gauntlets. Going on to the articulation, his head's going to look up pretty decent amount. Doesn't seem to look up as much as the other character. He's going to be able to look down more though. He looked down all the way to his chest. He gets pretty good head pivot also, really good, and he'll look side to side. This character's arms, even with the shoulder armor, is going to be able to come to a full T pose there as well. And you're still going to be able to get 360, being that shoulder armor is attached to the back there. And you still have the butterfly joint, as you see there, moving in and out. So you're going to be able to get some of those cross body photos or cross body maneuvers and movements. He also has bicep swivel and elbow swivel, and that same style double jointed elbow, which makes that double joint look so seamless. Man, I wish Masters of the Universe, the Masterverse line, would figure that out and do that. It just hides that double joint so well. Looks good too. I like that. Not seen other line to do that to my knowledge like this, and maybe it is because of the scaly skin that it makes it a little easier for them to do that, but that is just really nice. And this hand over here will swivel and horizontally hinge. And I still have the weapon holding hand over here that is vertically hinged. So that makes it nice for swords and weapons. And again, same style, double jointed elbows over here. And you can pull that skirt down like so and still show off that he's going to be able to crunch. And I'm just utilizing both, and you see the gap back there. I'm utilizing the diaphragm and the waist ball joint to crunch forward and bend back there, and you see it also gaps, but you can maneuver that to cover up, and it still gets a pretty good range of bending backwards. I love the whole color scheme here, even with this background, just really works well. These dark grays, the almost a light tan, along with the, you know, almost lava style motif going on in his armor, his leather, whatever these are, with painted lava type, you know, I don't know, whatever it's supposed to be. It's cool. And then the bones, and then the blue highlights like in the top of his head and everywhere. It's just really nice. Love that face sculpt. That face sculpt just really sold me. The articulated mouth sold me on that base body of that lizard kind of Savage Crucible, but this face sold me on this guy. I saw some pictures of him on Instagram. I said, I gotta pick up a couple of these. But moving on to the legs, you're gonna be able to get full splits even with the skirt. You have thigh rotation. It's gonna be able to kick up a good amount. Still, we get double jointed knees, which go way back. He's got the foot ability to go, see, it's a little less of a claw foot, more of a humanoid foot compared to the other lizard because he's a half-breed. So it'll go all the way down, all the way up, gets a nice rocker, has the peg hole, and a small toe hinge, a lot less clawing look than the other one. I'll show you a comparison here of the feet. You can see what a difference the feet, how different the feet are, because this is I guess a full-blooded lizard, cold-blooded lizard, whereas this other dude is more of a humanoid, well, human/lizard kind or whatever. So that is cool. And I think I mentioned already, he's got a smaller tail. It moves up, it moves down, and you can rotate it a little bit, but you're not really going to get to move it much other than up and down. Alright, and this little piece moves out of the way. Take a look at the back again with all those markings. Looks really cool. Even got a blue streak on the tail there. Just really pretty overall color scheme for these characters, I think, or the two that I've picked up here. And you see the bones, little bones around the ankles and around the knee here. Gives it a nice touch. This character just really looks good and can be posed very well. And we're going to look at that right now in comparisons. And here is our Crucible line. Here is our Savage next to our Whiplash by Masterverse, New Eternia Masterverse. You can see he's pretty much a lot larger than these characters, but would still fit in, I believe, because this is a larger character in the Masterverse line. Because here is our Grizzlor, Hordak's henchman, that is by Masterverse also, from the Princes of Power lore. And we have an awesome looking setup here because I think they would fit in well with these. They're just a little shorter, but they are decked out. They would go well with these, I believe. And here's Como next to our Crocman. I call him that, but he is one of the figures from the Furray Planet line. And I painted his drawers, his pants, brown. They were like jeans, and strapped some little leather straps, little leather pieces on it to give it a different look, to fit in more with the MOTU characteristics, or, you know, made him a villain as well. But the Crocman is a bouncer. He's big, he's thick. He's one of Beastman's henchmen to help also with Skeletor. And then here's Slive by Super 7, part of the villains in the Thundercat line. And you can see how well this Savage Crucible Lizards type figure fits in well, I think, with this Slive character. They look great together. They blend in well here. Looking good. And here's our Como next to our Masterverse Stinkor. And then here is our Savage henchman next to one of our Cosmic Legion figures, which he's on a larger scale too, larger size. He's one of the flies, one of the fly guardsmen, fly man, larvae man. I don't know. He's cool though. I like putting him in with my villains. Cool. And here's our Como next to our Masters of the Universe Revolution Battle Armor He-Man. Looking good alongside of him. And then here is a Warrior Animals of the Kingdom figure, Lexion, next to one of the Crucible figures. And here's the Lizard Savage Crucible next to a Classics figure, Lion-O. And they're about the same height and work pretty good there as well. I can really see, you know, this line working with either the Thundercats or the Masters of the Universe, and even, of course, your Mythic Legions characters as well. And speaking of a Mythic Legions, here is Como next to Atlas, a Mythic Legions character, and they scale perfect together, and they have the details that you would want, you know, very high details in Mythic Legions. But I'm telling you one thing, this Crucible character has 10 times better articulation, but still has the awesome details and seamless body overall, just like we're used to with Mythic Legion. And even the Combatants Fight for Glory characters, they are really nice, but their articulation falls short of the articulation of these new Crucible characters. But I will say this about the Crucible characters here: they are very difficult to stand up. Their feet, I mean, they have fallen over more times than I can count, and my other characters have stood fine. But just warning you, they're not fun to try to keep to stand up on a solid or even just a level surface. They don't want to stand very well. But these are looking good with some of our Thundercats and Masters of the Universe and Mythic Legions and Fight for Glory character here, and you know, you can just match them in Warriors of the Kingdom. I mean, there's a lot of good lines that they'll fit in well with. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review, as we have taken a look at this new line of Crucible characters. And they are awesome, awesome articulation, looking really good. Will make an excellent addition to anyone's collection, especially with your mythos, whether it be Masters of the Universe, Mythic Legions, or even Thundercats, I think. I mean, they will fit with any line, and of course with their own people too, their own line that's going to be building out. Looking forward to getting that barbarian looking. We saw some images, Who-Man, I think they're calling it, Who-Man. And so it's just really cool. And I think there's even comics that go along with this line, so there's just a lot to explore here. This guy is definitely my favorite. He is just really neat looking and can really strike some awesome poses. But I'm liking both of these. Come back and see us soon. Here's some photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed.